Hello, everybody. What's going on? This your girl Tiffany. I'm here live in effect. Today we deal with Black history. So today's Black history is going to be about Fannie M Richards. Fannie M Richards was an elementary school teacher, an educator, and so she was one of the first African American out of Michigan to come up with a kindergarten program. All right. So today we're going to be dealing with the topic about her and her life and her legacy and what she has done regarding to African Americans and regarding to education in general. You're welcome. You're welcome. And that's my goal. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. You're so welcome. That's what I just want to do. I want to be able to provide the information to the people. So I really appreciate that a lot. So if you go ahead and share this video, that is great. You know, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. But yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I'm always here to share contents. I'm here to share information. So I thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, that's the picture of Fannie M Richards. Okay. So I'm going to read a source and then I got another source to back up the information about her. Okay. So let me show you. All right. Never mind Donald Trump on the left hand. Okay. Never mind him. He's not of the topic of this conversation. All right. So check it out. Who is Fannie M Richards? Okay. You know, today is her born day. She was born on October the 1st of 1840. All right. Now, she was an American educator. She created the first kindergarten program in Michigan, and for that was inducted into the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame. All right. Now, let's look at her biography. Richard was born on October the 1st, 1840 in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She soon moved to Toronto and was educated both there and in Germany, working in Germany with German educator Frederick Froebel. She later moved to Detroit and was allowed to teach there despite not having the correct license. In 1863, she opened a school for African American children, and 5 years later was appointed the instructor at Color School Number 2. Working with John J. Bagley, Richards protest against the segregated school system in Detroit, which the Michigan Supreme Court eventually mandated the abolition of in 1871. That same year, she started working at Everett Elementary School and there established the first kindergarten class in Michigan. Okay. Richards also founded the Phyllis Whitley Home for Aged Colored Ladies in Detroit and co-founded the Michigan Association of Colored Women. Richards died in February 13th of 1922 at the age of 81. Okay. Richards' home was added to the state of Michigan Registry of Historic Sites on November 14th of 1974. A portrait of Miss Fannie M. Richards, painted by Detroit artist Thalitha Cumming Bowens, was included in 1988/89 exhibit Ain't I a Woman at the Museum of African American History in Detroit. The exhibit featured a dozen prominent Black women from the state of Michigan, including Ethelene Jones Crockett, MD, the Honorable Cora M. Brown, and Dr. Violet T. Lewis. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that again if you guys can hear me. Ethelene Jones Crockett, MD, the Honorable Cora M. Brown, and Dr. Violet T. Lewis. All right, so she was inducted into the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame. Okay, and she's also in the Museum of the African American History in Detroit. So let's look at some reference. If you want to find out more information, here's some reference at the bottom of the page. All right, and then you got the external link. Okay, so that's the brief information right here about Miss Fannie M. Richards. but I got another source to back up going to her origin and history. All right. So real fast, yeah, I have another information about her history, going into detail about her lineage and whatnot. So this article that I'm getting ready to post is dealing with her maternal side of the family and also her paternal, but more so her maternal side. And it's talk about her mother, whose name was Maria Louise Richards, and just going to the origin and what she has done and whatnot, how she met her husband, and then talks about her children, all the way on down to Fannie M Richards, who later became a prominent figure. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys the information. All right, here we go. So right here, it could be found in journals.uchicago.edu, okay, at the University of Chicago Journals. All right, so it's called The Story of Maria Louise Moore and Fannie M Richards. Okay, so I'm gonna read this first paragraph right here. Okay. First two paragraph. It says, the state of Virginia has been the home of distinguished persons of both sexes of the white and color races. A dissertation on the noted colored women of Virginia would find a small circle of readers, but would nevertheless contain interesting accounts of some of the most important achievements of the people of that state. The story of Maria Louise Moore Richards would be a larger chapter of such a narrative. She was born of white and Negro parentage in Fredericksburg, Virginia in 1800. Her father was Edwin Moore, a Scotchman of Edinburgh. Her mother was a free woman of color born in Toronto when it was called York. Exactly how they came to Fredericksburg is not known. It seems, however, that they had been well established in that city when Maria Louise Moore was born. Okay. And then it says that this woman was fortunate in coming into the world at that time. So general had been the efforts for the elevation of the colored people that free Negroes had many of the privilege later given only to white. Virginia then and for a long time thereafter ranked among the Commonwealth's most liberal towards the Negro. Dissemination of information among them was not then restricted. Private teaching of slaves was common, and progressive communities maintained colored schools. In Fredericksburg, such opportunities were not rare. The parents of Maria Louise Moore fortunately associated with the free Negroes who constituted an industrial class with adequate means to provide for the thorough training of their children. Miss Moore, therefore, easily acquired the rudiments of education and attained some distinction as a student of history. All right, so I'm going to read down a little further. Okay. Now, this is talking about the mother of Fannie M Richards. All right, now in 1820, Miss Moore was married to Adolph Richards, a native of the island of Guadeloupe. He was a Latin of some Negro blood, had noble ancestry, and had led an honorable career. Educated in London and resident in Guadeloupe, he spoke both English and French fluently. Because of poor health in later years, he was directed by his friends to Saberish climate of Virginia. He settled at Fredericksburg, where he soon became captivated by the charms of the talented Maria Louise Moore. On learning of his marriage, his people and friends marveled that a man of his standing had married a colored woman or a southern woman at all. All right. Then it goes on to say, adjusting himself to this new environment, Mr. Richards opened a shop for wood turning, painting, and glazing. It is highly probable that he learned these trades in the West Indies, but having adequate means to maintain himself, he had not depend on his mechanical skill. In Fredericksburg, he had the respect and support of the best white people, passing as one of such well-to-do free Negroes as the Lees, the Cooks, uh, the Baptistes, who were contractors, and the Williamses, who were contractors and brick makers. His success was, in a large measure, due to the good standing of the family of Mrs. Richards and to the wisdom with which which she directed this West Indian in his new environment. Okay. And then it says that they had in all 14 children, the training of whom was largely the work of the mother. All of them were well grounded in rudiments of education and given a taste for higher things. In the course of time, when the family grew larger, the task of educating them grew more arduous. Some of them probably attended the school conducted by Scotch Irishmen in the home of Richard de Baptiste. When the reaction against the teaching of Negroes affected the closing of the colored school in Virginia, this one continued clandestinely for many years. Determined to have her children better educated, Mrs. Richards sent one of her sons to a school conducted by Mrs. Beechman, a remarkable English woman, assisted by her daughter. All right. So now let's go down to the story about Miss Fannie Richards. All right. So down here it says the most prominent and the most useful person to emerge from this group of pioneering Negroes was her daughter, Fannie M Richards. She was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia, October the 1st, 1841. As her people left that state when she was quite young, she did not see much of the intolerable condition as did the older members of the family. Miss Richard was successful in getting an early start in education, desiring to have better training than what was then given to persons of color in Detroit. She went to Toronto. There she studied English, history, drawing, and needlework. In later years, she attended the teachers training school in Detroit. Her first thought was to take up teaching that she might do something to elevate her people. She therefore opened a private school in 1863, doing a higher grade of work than that undertaken in the public school. About 1862, however, a colored public school had been opened by a white man named Whitebeck. Miss Richard began to think that she should have such a school herself. All right. Then it goes on down here. Her story as to how she realized her ambition is very interesting. Going to her private school one morning, she saw a carpenter repairing a building. Upon inquiry, she learned that it was to be open as color school number 2. She went immediately to William D. Wilkins, a member of the Board of Education, who was impressed with the personality of the young woman, escorted her to the office of Superintendent of Schools, Dwayne Doughty. After some discussion of the matter, Miss Richards filed an application assured that she would be notified to take the next examination. At the appointed time, she presented herself along with others applicants who hoped to obtain the position. Miss Richards ranked the highest and was notified to report for duty the following September. Early one morning, she proceeded to her private school in time to inform her 40 pupils of the desirable change and conducted them in a body to their new home. All right. And it says Miss Richard taught in this building until 1871, when by a liberal interpretation of the courts, the schools were mixed by ignoring race distinction wherever it occurred in the school laws of Michigan. She was then transferred to the Everett School, where she remained until last June, when she was retired on a pension after having served that system half a century. Although she taught very few colored children, she said to a reporter 7 years ago, I have never been I have never been made to feel in any way that my race had been a handicap to me. Neither my pupils nor the teachers have ever shown prejudice. I do not doubt that it exists. I shall be in heaven long before it has all disappeared. But I say it is with a colored teacher as it is with a white one. Her work is the only thing that counts. I have never been called before the board for a reprimand in all my years of teaching. The methods have changed a good deal since the time that I started in, and it would be easy to lag behind, but I try not to. It means continual reading and studying to keep up with the modern ways of doing things, but I managed to do it. And when time comes that I cannot do my work in a satisfactory manner, I want the Board of Education to discharge me and get someone else. All right. So, and let's see. Let me read one more. It says, in the testimony to these facts, one of the daily papers of Detroit wrote her up in 1910, saying that she had kept her interest in modern pedagogic methods, maintained a high standards of scholarship in her school, retained her sympathy with little children, who had rewarded her devotion to her work with the appreciation and love. To show how well she is loved by her pupils, the writer was careful to state that these children, as a gay group, often surrounded her on her way to school. Now, let's stop before you guys get caught up on the term gay. The word gay back then meant happy. Okay? Gay means happy as well. So it's not just pertaining to sexuality. It means happy. So I'm gonna read that part again so y'all can hear me out. The writer was careful to state that these students, as a gay group, often surrounded her on her way to school, clinging to her hands, crowding about her as best they may, all chattering and pouring out accounts of their little doings. Frequently, say this writer, she is stopped on the street by grown men and women who long ago were her pupils and who have remembered her, though with the passing of the years and the new classes of little ones who come to her every term, she has forgotten them. Many have been accustomed to bring their children to the Everett School and speak of how glad they will be when these little ones will be under the care of their parents' former teacher. All right. So as you can see in this article, it goes into her family, her lineage, and then it talks about her life as a school teacher in Detroit, Michigan, and how she was basically being praised and honored and respected by many. So with that being said, because she was honored and praised, she was given a recognition. So again, she could be found in the Michigan Women's Hall of Fame and also be found in the African American Museum in Detroit, Michigan. All right. So anyways, with that being said, that concludes this information of Black history. So I thank you all for watching. I thank you for tuning in. If you want to go ahead and share this video, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure you do so as well, which is Tiffany French. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right. Other than that, you all have a wonderful day and be safe out here. May peace and power and elevation be to all of you. Until next time, we will reconnect. All right, then. Peace.